What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 251. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Greetings, dark greetings. You've never seen What We Do in the Shadows is a movie. It's a very funny movie, and there's a TV show, and part of that is the main characters get put on a trial, and they have a bunch of, like, a coalition of vampires judge them for, like, a murder. And they're all like famous vampires from movies. Even Wesley Snipes shows up, and they're like saying "dark greetings." And it's a good way to start a conversation.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm all about that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Two Penny Gamescast. Each week, me and Connor come to you with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game industry. We each come to you with two topics, two pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. Of course, you can find this show live most weeks, not this week because of some other issues, over at twitch.tv/2pennygames. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. I worked 40 hours this weekend. It was a rough weekend for me. Twitch.tv/2pennygames every Monday afternoon. We stream all of our shows live. Of course, you can always find them over on youtube.com/@2pennygames or mainstream podcast services. This one goes up every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time. 8 a.m. Central Time. Please go over to the YouTube channel and check out the inaugural episode of The Penny Drop. This is my new video essay series. This first one is I Want More Remakes. For the longest time, fun fact, it was called Remake Greatness in all of my scripts, you know? And
Scrap that eventually, huh?
It's not as clickbaity. Like, it's just not clickbaity enough, you know? So, I don't know.
It's a very good video.
Maybe it is. Maybe just the title of it is good because I Want More Remakes in the thumbnail. I don't know. But yeah, Connor, you watched it?
Yes. It's okay. I'm just kidding. It's as you said when we recorded earlier, very well received so far. Probably one of the best like large count videos because we just gotten about over 631 views last I checked.
We're sitting over 600 for sure as of right now. So please go over, click on that video. It's on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@2pennygames. The Penny Drop, I Want More Remakes. Please go watch that video. Give it a thumbs up, comment, share it with whoever you like. I put a lot of time into that video. It's our most produced piece of content that we've ever made. And it's the most that's ever been on this channel. So please go check that one out. It would really mean a lot if we could break 1,000 views on that. I'd be very happy with that because we don't do that too often over here. Of course, subscribe, help us get it to where 1,000 views could maybe be the norm, or maybe even more than 1,000 views could be the norm. That would be fantastic. But for right now, it's done well. For what the size of our channel is right now, it's done well. So please help push that one to be even greater. I really want that one to do some numbers for us. I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully there will be more to come. And it won't take me as long to make them than this one took me. This one took me a long time to make, but some of that's my fault. Some of that is just the amount of work and the amount of time I have battling each other out.
Even if you don't like it, go there, dislike it, leave a mean comment. You don't go watch the video.
Yeah,
as long as you go watch the video, right?
You can just hit the like and dip. Hitting the like and dipping is fine. You only got to watch the first minute or whatever for the YouTube algorithm to appreciate it. It's not even that long. It's 25 minutes long. So just go check it out. I think it's really good. I think it's an enjoyable watch.
I agree. You did a great job with it.
There are times when I watch it that I forget that it's my video. It's my voice and my face or whatever, so I recognize it's me talking. But I've heard my voice so much in content that I don't really register it as my voice anymore. So just go check it out because I've watched it several times since I've uploaded it, and I think it's good. So anyway, enough.
You love hearing yourself talk. We all know that.
Enough with yeah, that's true. Enough with the preamble about that. Please go watch that video. Link is in the description down below. Connor, we got to get to the news. Of course, each week, me and you come to the people with the nerdy news they need to know concerning the video game industry. We each come to you with 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. This week, we got an interesting week in news, ladies and gentlemen. After probably a month of some slow news, we got some news today. And it's not as heartbreaking as some of the other news stories that we've covered in the last couple of weeks, but
It's very dour. It's not a
not
good outlook.
it's not good. Doesn't look good for some people, but in different ways. So Connor, let's go ahead with our first topic of the day. Your first penny, take it away.
Usually I write these things, but I've not this week. I'll say that much. So I'm pulling an article here from Eurogamer, one Vicky Blake, who
Connor, I'll
does a lot
pause.
of great
I'll
work.
pause to talk about that because I'll address that too. Usually we have a set. Usually we have lights. Usually we have different camera angles that we cut to and all these things. It was a very hard week for Connor and I. It was a very hard week in our real lives. So for different reasons. But yeah, listen, we just didn't get around to doing all the usual production stuff that we normally do. So there's no Substack articles this week that Connor wrote. I didn't feel like putting the setup and all the lights and stuff because I'm running on fumes. And we just got a lot of other stuff going on around us. So this week we've kind of thrown the show together a little bit, but we're gonna keep it going and we're gonna keep putting it up like we always do. So I'm sorry, Connor. Let's go ahead and get into your first topic of the day.
Yep. Once again from Vicky Blake at Eurogamer. Bungie morale reportedly in, quote, freefall as it grapples with stolen Marathon assets fallout. A new report alleges that Marathon developer Bungie is in chaos after the studio was forced to admit that an external artist's work has been used within upcoming game Marathon without consent. Forbes claims the morale at the studio is in, quote, free fall right across the organization, with one source telling the outlet the vibes have never been worse. The issue came to light earlier this week following recent playable alpha tests of Marathon, from which artist Fern Hook recognized their designs had been used. Responding via its less visible Marathon dev team social media account, Bungie wrote that it had, quote, immediately investigated, end quote, Hook's claim and found that, yes, a former artist at the company had swiped the designs. Then, in an ill-timed and palpably awkward livestream last night, the developer revealed it would not be sharing any Marathon gameplay due to the ongoing investigation. Quote, our show is a little bit different today, explained game director Joe Ziegler at the beginning of the stream. We had planned to show a lot more stuff, but for a lot of reasons we're about to get into. We decided not to show a bunch of this stuff, but we are going to be discussing a lot about what we learned through Alpha, some of the plans that we're going forward with, end quote. Ziegler later said part of the reason Bungie wasn't showing any gameplay was because the team was, quote, still scrubbing all of our assets to make sure that we are being respectful of the situation. It came to our attention that an artist who worked on Marathon in the early stages of pre-production took a number of graphic elements from a graphic designer without permission or acknowledgement and placed them on a decal sheet that was checked in 2020. Added art director Joe Cross, reading from a statement. The decal sheet included icons and text elements. These elements ended up on our alpha build, and there is absolutely no excuse for this oversight, and we are working on and 100% committed to our review process to ensure instances like this don't happen again on Marathon or at Bungie, end quote. Forbes now reports sources at Bungie say the explanation given publicly about the incident, which is that a former employee is responsible, is the same reason given internally, but, quote, morale wasn't free fall, end quote, as the team scrambled to recover from the latest in a line of plagiarism accusations, with changes to its marketing plan, which predates this week's incident, and possible amendments to its playtesting plans, as well as now an audit into what should be every single graphic element used on Marathon. Some fear the shooter will struggle to hit its 23rd September release date. Forbes also intimates staff have been uneasy with the direction of development, saying, quote, as far as back as 5 years ago, devs were telling management what would and wouldn't work and were often ignored. Many have said previously that it needed to have some sort of PvE component. End quote. Sony and Bungie legal are reportedly looking into what happened with the stolen assets, but Bungie's decision not to share any footage in yesterday's live stream is perhaps telling enough. And that, to me, indicates the problem's a lot more widespread than just this one incident. Because, in a time where, and we'll talk more about AI later, it's become, the delivery of art has become unsure of whether it's, reusing old assets or whether AI is involved. The game production process has become more messy than ever, especially with how unstable the games industry is right now. And so for a game to be dealing with this kind of problem, frankly, a game that already is struggling to get a lot of interest in it, it's because Marathon's a PvP slash...
It's a PvP extraction
shooter.
I don't believe there's any PvE elements in it, but
there's not.
I could be wrong, because I have not... Listen, I've not been... As you just said, there's not a lot of interest for Marathon, and my interest is included in that. I'm not interested in Marathon. I was waiting for them to like give a big gameplay reveal. I watched their big gameplay trailer and I was like, ooh, that doesn't look that great. So I want to start off with Bungie is a legendary game dev studio, right? The creators of Halo, the creators of Destiny, Destiny 2, lots and lots of bangers under their belt. They've done a lot of great work. They're a great studio for the most part, and they produce a lot of really great content for the most part. This is unfortunate. This is frustrating, and you know, I'm hoping that they're taking the necessary precautions to where this stops happening and doesn't happen again. Because Connor, you may not remember, but we've covered this happening at Bungie at least one other time. I recall, I think 3 times of this happening, and I'm hearing online that this is the 4th time that Bungie's been accused of stealing art from unknown artists and so forth. So, and let's be honest, this is the 4th time they've been caught. It's not the. It's probably not the 4th time they've done it. You know, and it needs to stop. Now, this specific case seems to happen from an employee who no longer works there. So hopefully the problem has already solved itself. But clearly they've got a widespread issue at Bungie of stealing art. And that's really heartbreaking because Bungie, again, is a very talented studio. I want to see Bungie succeed. I want to see Marathon succeed. But for a number of reasons, it doesn't seem likely, and this doesn't help. This puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth right at the, I guess, eve of launch. You know, we're still several months out, but like, you know, betas and play tests are happening all over. And Marathon seemingly is an okay game. It's okay. It's not their best work, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end up being even considered, you know, a great shooter by any means. This seems to be another PlayStation shooter that's going to come and go. Hopefully not to the extent that Concord came and went. But, you know, this one's going to struggle to find a fan base. Now, and I think it's telling that I don't think Bungie is super confident in Marathon themselves. One, from the reporting that we have in this article, but also 2, Destiny 2 has a content roadmap for this year. Like, they've got 2 major expansions coming this year. So, you know, smaller than the ones we've seen in previous years, but still, they've got 2 expansions coming out this year. So clearly they're going back to that well and going, whoa, times are unstable. Sure, we'd like to develop new IPs and new games and so forth, but we need to, I think I heard that Destiny 3, conversations of Destiny 3 have kind of been shut down at Bungie because, let's not risk what we already have in here. But, you know, I remember, oh God, I forget which one it was. It wasn't the final shape, and I don't think it was Last Light. I don't think it was Last Light that stole art. I think it was the one before that one, but I don't remember what that one was. I don't think it was Last Light, but maybe it was Last Light. That's the one that I remember us covering. That they've been accused of stealing something. I think it was the one before Last Light.
I think I just found it. It was for a cutscene. It was Lightfall.
Was that what it was called? It wasn't Last Light. It was Lightfall.
I think there was Last Light, but I think Lightfall was another one.
I think Lightfall was the one before Final Shape.
Beyond Light, maybe that one.
Oh, they got a bunch of shit with light in the title. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Light's a theme in Destiny. So
it is.
There's that. But this is a problem, Bungie. You got to stop doing this. You got to figure out what the issue is here, and you got to stop it because there's the first time is a mistake. You know, the second time indicates a pattern, and that pattern hasn't been broken yet. So what's up?
Especially if you say, from what you were saying about comments, that this is the 4th time it's happened. If that is true,
in recent years too.
Yeah,
like,
and you know,
not a long time ago, like within the lifespan of Destiny 2.
This is a bad time for this to happen. You know, again, going back to the fact that the industry is so unstable, and even if you're a successful game, that could still follow layoffs, as we saw in the case of Insomniac Games with Spider-Man 2. That's the one that always comes to mind myself. You know, this has already kind of taken the steam out of a game that didn't have much going for it to begin with. And so, fuck, man. I don't think this is gonna. I think we're gonna see some layoffs from Bungie here by the end of the year. Especially if they have to delay this, because if you expect it to come out on a hardline date and things like this are, especially for lawsuit purposes, require you to delay it, you might see some serious problems to, what they were planning on making this year.
Right, because I mean, now they got to go through and they have to scrub through every single asset in that game. And like, listen, I'm not an artist. I have not made a bunch of digital art. I'm nowhere near a game developer. But just in like the small amount of things that I have developed just for this show, you see on screen right now the borders, the logo, the scrolling coins in the back. That's a lot of work. There's a lot of different things there's a lot of different individual assets at play just in what you see on screen right now. I can't imagine how many different assets and layers and things that are involved in making a game, and they got to go through all of that. Now, the problem is Connor, you were hinting at it earlier, is game development is big, and a dev studio like Bungie is huge, and it involves a lot of people. And I'm sure most of those people, the overwhelming majority of those people, are hardworking people who are doing the right thing. But it only takes a few bad apples. It only takes a few bad apples. And if you're a studio with 300 people, you're going to have some bad apples.
And to my knowledge, the closed alpha of the game was disappointing. And so, it has all the marks of a game that's going to come out, and it's not going to be well received already. This is only, putting more nails in the coffin. I hope it doesn't, because, Bungie clearly has talent there. The last DLC for Destiny, for example, was very, very well received. And so, one bad apple spoils the bunch. Is that the saying? One bad egg spoils the bunch?
One bad apple.
You get one bad apple, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very disappointed to see this happen to Bungie again. I really hope they fix it. By no means am I forecasting the doom of Bungie or the end of Bungie or anything like that. They're a huge studio. They're a massive studio, and Destiny 2 is huge.
If Ubisoft is still around, they will be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And like, I mean, I'm not putting Bungie on the level of like a Ubisoft in terms of like bad places to work or like even like greedy companies or anything like that. I think they had a handful of artists there who did not deserve to be there, and made some choices that made the entire company look bad, and that sucks. Fuck those people. But this you can recover from this.
You can, yeah.
And a lot of it's just really bad timing.
And it seems like, as we sometimes covered, or very often covered, management and communication between them and the actual devs had to have a play here, like had a problem here somewhere. Because the fact that this artist hadn't worked for the company for so long, and now you're, years later having this problem.
Well, I don't know if that's the case as so much as just that this guy stole art, put it in the game. Everybody thought it was good, so they just like kept creating, and because when you're in game development, you're siloed off. Like you're not like you're working on these things for years and years, and so you're like a lot of things just start fading into the background. You stop looking at them in high detail. So I'm sure that whoever this former employee was stole these assets, put them in the game, and nobody thought anything of it until it came to light. And it's like, fuck, this is bad? Shit, he worked on a bunch of stuff. Like, we got to go through and scrub everything.
Yeah, for me, I was mainly saying that because of the part where they were recommending PvE and just kind of being ignored. And I think to something like Overwatch, that had a far much more, not stable, but, effective gameplay loop. And Marathon is kind of already seeming like a gun from the closed alphas, not up to that kind of level. And it might seem like it would benefit from having a PvE style gameplay. And the fact that they would just kind of ignore that out the gate seems like it might spell a bigger problem for a game that seems to want to have like a lifeline, has like continuous effort put into it over time.
Can you expound on your comparison with Overwatch? Because I'm not sure I understand what you're meaning by that.
It's because a lot of people in that game, despite you had such a strong gameplay loop, were saying, why don't we have a PvE mode? Clearly that inevitably didn't work out, but that was something that originally, at least, fans were, wanting in that game.
It's always a desire to have some type of non-competitive version of a shooter, because, not all players are able to get over a skill jump or you and I are big fans of Marvel Rivals. I'm nervous to go back to Marvel Rivals because it's been so long since I played, and it's only been a couple of months. But like the game has changed wildly since I last played it, and so I'm like, I don't know if I'm up to snuff in that. You know what I mean? So like,
I feel like if we
at some point going back to it feels like attention on it. Destiny 2 is the same way. I have Destiny 2 installed right now because I want to partake in their Star Wars event that comes out later this year. But I'm like, at the same time, it's like, fuck, this is going to be a big undertaking of like relearning how Destiny 2 works. Like, I'm like reading blogs and forum posts of like, okay, how do I do this, that, and the third? And it's going to be a tricky thing. Speaking of Star Wars, Connor, we are going to move on to topic number 2, my first penny of the day. Oh boy, here we go. SAG-AFTRA files charge against Epic Games over Fortnite's AI Darth Vader. This is from Game Rant by Ashley Claudino. SAG-AFTRA affirms that Epic Games acted unfairly by replacing workers with artificial intelligence technology to create the Darth Vader NPC added to Fortnite with patch V35.10 on May 16th. Fortnite released an update for Galactic Battle, its Star Wars-themed mini-season. Gamers had been waiting for an update for 2 weeks, so they were eagerly anticipating the new content that would come with the patch. Gamers have been waiting for an update for 2 weeks? Is fucking Fortnite getting updated like every week? Jesus Christ.
It gets updated very, very often.
God, that content loop is insane.
It's on top, or
eagerly anticipated new content that would come with the patch. They became even more excited when the leaks that were published before servers came back up revealed that an AI-powered Darth Vader would be added to Fortnite. As soon as the patch went live and servers were back, players quickly got into a match and looked for him at his possible spawn location so they could fight him and get him to join their team. As the first talking companion in Fortnite, fans immediately started testing what Darth Vader would respond to and what subject matters he would avoid. Epic Games used AI to replicate James Earl Jones' voice, rest in peace, the most iconic actor to voice Darth Vader. SAG-AFTRA was quite displeased with this because instead of resorting to human workers to program and create this interactive Darth Vader AI, Epic simply used artificial intelligence. It claims that by doing so, it took away the jobs of humans, which is why SAG-AFTRA is filing an unfair labor practice charge against Llama Productions, Fortnite's signatory company. What is signatory, Connor? Do you know what that is?
Signature, like it's your mainstay.
Signatory? All right, cool. Even though James Earl Jones' family has commented that they are okay with Epic Games' decision to bring James back through AI to voice Darth Vader, this does not change the fact that it could have employed people if it didn't rely solely on AI tech. By not speaking with the union prior to releasing the NPC, it is considered that Epic Games refused to bargain with SAG-AFTRA, taking away their option to negotiate terms and conditions about the AI character. While artificial intelligence can be a highly effective tool for a variety of purposes, it is also an extremely controversial topic in certain communities because every day it is costing more people their jobs, contributing to a higher unemployment rate. While the addition of an AR Darth Vader to Fortnite sounds like great fun, it has already sparked a lot of discussion and has become a source of anger among gamers. Not only because of this potentially unfair practice, but also because streamers and players quickly started and succeeded in making it say a mouthful of inappropriate words and sentences.
And you know, one thing that kind of annoys me about this is the family said it's okay for them to use his voice. There's some kind of monetary gain from that, isn't there? Like when you use something like that.
I mean, I'm sure they're getting residuals kind of hard for it.
So it seems like that's a bad way to gauge whether this is the proper thing to do.
Yeah, the family and the estate have said that Jones has stated that he's okay with AI imitating his voice because he believes the character of Darth Vader is so iconic that it should be allowed for all generations and this, that, and the third. So you can always use his voice for Darth Vader is their take. This is not the first time AI has been involved in producing the voice of Darth Vader. The Kenobi show on Disney Plus used a combination of James Earl Jones and AI to sort of imitate a younger version of him that kind of fit more within the timeline of their show and this, that, and the third. And I don't know. I'm really conflicted on this. I probably just land on the side of recasting is fine. Like, we get it. It's part of the human nature and human life. Sometimes these characters outlive their actors. This is a case of that, where Darth Vader's going to be in popular culture for the rest of our lives. So it doesn't make sense that James Earl Jones, who died at the age of, I think he was, pushing 90.
He was 90.
Yeah.
It's worrisome because of where the industry's going and just kind of specifically the more corporate side of things, too broadly accepting AI, and you're going to see it be more implemented in egregious ways, even
Yeah.
if you can justify saying, well, James Earl Jones' family, because did you say that about his family said it was okay, or he himself also said it was
This
okay?
article says the family. I read a quote from the estate that said Jones said it was cool.
Which again, you can
before he passed, which would make sense because they did it in Kenobi.
Yeah, that is true. But I remember something like Stan Lee. We know that his family was kind of abusing what he would be okay with by taking advantage of his older age. Now, James Earl Jones, from my understanding, didn't have that problem because, again, Stan Lee seemed like he was having some mental problems, just basic things you would have when you're getting older.
Yeah,
and that could have allowed for manipulating him. And I don't know if that was the same case here. It's. I remember seeing one comment on Twitter when I was scrolling it that they fear that the argument against AI is already over. That it's already it's going to be a thing from here on out, and not in the ways we like to idealize to, make it to where it's easier to develop video games, for example, but just cases like this, where you're just going to have, maybe without the concession of the original voice actor, to use their voice in AI form after they're passed. It didn't happen the same exact way, because I don't think it was related to AI, but Carrie Fisher, her being used in some Star Wars property after she had already died, didn't sit with fans very well. And I just think it's going to kind of, take some of the humanity out of video games to implement AI in this fashion. By the way, James Earl Jones was 93.
I don't know. To the Carrie Fisher point, I'm not quite sure which prop. I mean, I guess episode 9 used already recorded footage of her and sort of repurposed and retooled it for the purposes of the plot of that movie. And it didn't work very well. But that's, because the movie's also not very good. But she did also die right. I want to say she died like right after Rogue One came out, Carrie Fisher. So then her role in Last Jedi was already solidified also. And then obviously episode 9 came out like 2-3 years later. So yeah, it could get a little tricky there. Maybe she was involved in like a show or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like when a character becomes so iconic that it kind of like supersedes the actor. Like, I get it. Like in the very individual case of Darth Vader, I get it. I don't think it's necessary. I think you still could have hired somebody and they would have done a fine job. We've done it before, and they've done fine. Darth Vader has been voiced by a bunch of people, and it's more often than not, it's fine. You can usually tell it's not James Earl Jones, but not enough to break you from the immersion of the fiction, And I think like, and you can make like an argument that like, oh, we don't do this for the Joker. Like if Mark Hamill dies, like we're not going to start puppeteering Mark Hamill's Joker around, which I get that argument as well. But comic books also have the advantage of being able to reset their canon every time they start something new.
And that's more of a case. He was just the most popular iteration of Joker. There's tons of other ones. He wasn't even the first. Whereas Darth Vader was James Earl Jones. Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones. You associate the actor with that role inherently, no matter what.
Yeah, Indiana Jones is actually a great example of that, where like Harrison Ford, as Indiana Jones is a thing. I imagine we're gonna get some AI stuff. They used AI to like de-age him in the last movie, didn't they? Or I could be talking out of my ass on that point. But
sure,
Troy Baker, Troy Baker just did a phenomenal Indiana Jones performance where he performed as Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, but still Indiana Jones, and did a great job. You're like, the human can do this. The human being can do this, especially in art forms where you don't need the face. So yeah, I don't think this is necessary. I think if I worry about AI. If we let one through, we could potentially let them all through. So when it comes to things like this, I do think SAG-AFTRA should go after this. But I also think it's perfectly within the right of the family to say, no, this is okay, and we allow this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of a messy situation. I don't like it, but I also like, there's a lot of things in life I don't like that are perfectly fine,
Mm-hmm. You're just an AI sympathizer.
Yeah, sure. Put me in that camp. Yeah, sure. I don't even like when my family sends me AI memes where they're like, "Hey, I turned myself into a baby." I'm like, "Why did you do that? Like, why would you do that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just cool." And I'm like, Or I made I made my 5-year-old grandson look like what he would look like in 20 years. And I'm like, I don't like that. We're not supposed to
And
have
see,
that technology. One, we're not supposed to have that technology as human beings. And two, like the environmental impact with AI and the like just all the problems with the AI, like it's just like, why are you doing this? Like it just looks gross.
I'm looking something up real quick because this is, and yeah. So the U.S. National Security Agency has a machine that they recently created that they named Skynet. Now, clearly, anybody with a semblance of what that is supposed to inherently mean is we're going to get taken over by machines.
Art
now
becomes reality.
Yes, and that's kind of the issue, is that why I think the fight's almost already lost, because we could sit here and argue against it as reasonably as possible and be joined in by a number of other people, but at the end of the day, the bulk of just regular people are accepting AI without even really having an issue with it. You know, they don't think in the broader terms of what that might mean. They think very much in the now. Most people do.
I don't agree with that personally. Because one, I think fights just take a long time, and fights are fights, and you have to fight them for a long time. Like AI's only really been around in a dangerous, quote unquote, dangerous way for a couple of years now. Like to say the fight is over is premature in my mind. I'm not saying that the result is going to change. I just saying it's a little premature to do that. And also, yeah, most people don't think about that. Most people aren't supposed to think about that. It's up to these unions and these lawmakers and these all these other things to notify that when somebody pushes a boundary to go, a little too far, bring it back, and let's draw a line here now. You know, nobody makes a sign before somebody breaks a rule. You know, like you don't know. There's never a sign for no running at the pool until somebody runs and slips and falls and cracks their head enough time at the pool to where they go, we should put a sign up. You know, like that's just that's how human nature works. Is people push the boundary until we as a collective decide that's too far. Let's bring it back.
And I hope that that'll be continued to be reined in when it reaches over those boundaries. But like all emerging technologies, we'll see the effects of it as time goes on.
Indeed. Moving on to our second topic of the day. This is going to be my second penny of the day. Excuse me.
Disgusting.
Jade Raymond leaves PlayStation's Haven Studios, the company she founded. This is Wesley LeBlanc from Game Informer. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. All right, I'm on top of it. Industry veteran Jade Raymond founded Haven Studios in 2021, and it was acquired by PlayStation in 2022. Now, just a few years later, and before the team has released its first game, an online heist shooter named Fair Games, Raymond has exited the company. Bloomberg broke the news, revealing PlayStation leadership didn't give Haven staff a reason for her departure, but notes that it occurred several weeks after an external test of Fair Games. The publication's sources say some developers at Haven, quote, were concerned about how the game was received and its progress. A lot is riding on Fair Games as part of PlayStation's push for live service games, though many have since been delayed or canceled in development. PlayStation is looking for another hit like Helldivers 2, but has stumbled with recent releases like Concord, which shut down less than 2 weeks after its launch, a lukewarm reception to Bungie's upcoming Marathon, which is now in hot water as a result of plagiarized art that we've just talked about. Quote, Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding Haven Studios, a PlayStation spokesperson told Bloomberg. Quote, we are deeply grateful for her leadership and contributions, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. PlayStation is committed to supporting Haven Studios and excited to continue the journey with the new studio co-heads Marie-Eve Danis and Pierre-Francois Sapinski. Raymond previously spent a decade at Ubisoft as a producer for the early Assassin's Creed games before joining EA in 2015 as the head of Motive Studios. She left Motive in 2018 to join the now-defunct Google Stadia as head of Stadia Games and Entertainment. Following her stint at Google, Raven created Haven in 2021. Several Stadia executives followed her there, and it was revealed that same year Haven was already working on a new PlayStation exclusive game. Roughly a year later, in 2022, PlayStation acquired Haven, and now Raymond is moving on to something else. And we covered pretty much all of those beats as they happened in the early days of the podcast.
Yeah,
that's not
good. So listen, there's two ways to see this, right? She left because PlayStation got control of it, And when she originally founded it, she may have wanted it to be a more independent thing, and just over time she became disenfranchised with
that's a way to
not being
look at
their
it.
own thing.
That was not in either of my two directions that I was gonna go. But okay.
Well, tell me yours in a second, because the other one is that she, despite being the founder, and you would think having a lot of stock in seeing at least the first game come out and being successful, the fact that she's leaving right now shows that things are not looking good. Especially because this followed an external, test of the game. It might not have been so positively received, and maybe she jumped ship before it was already crashing along the shores.
The writing's kind of on the wall. That's where I lean. My two thoughts were it was what you just said is that the writing was on the wall. It doesn't look good for Fair Games or Haven Studios at that point. We saw what happened to Concord and Firewalk. Or her entire purpose was just to get the studio off the ground. She's already studio hopped a lot, so this was her whole purpose was to get it off the ground, get it established as a business, and then when it was time to leave, it's time to leave, and she would leave whilst Fair Games was in a good place for launch. I don't believe Fair Games is in a good place for launch. I don't even necessarily believe Fair Games is coming to market. I believe this game is probably going to get canceled before it launches. It's worth noting that it has been, we never had a date, but it's been internally delayed till next year. And Fair Games, the S at the end of that used to be a $, and now it's just an S. So we are rebranding Fair Games, essentially. Now, why? Could be a number of reasons. Could be sort of, clarity in branding, which I think is probably the main reason as to why they're doing it, because the $sign is weird. It could be the move away from digital currency or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is the word I was looking for. A move away from cryptocurrency, which uses $signs as its indication that it is what it is. Especially with the rise of the Trump coin or the Doge coin and all these other things that have been prevalent in news cycles. A moving away from that could be either of those. I think it's probably a clarity in branding. We want it to be more clear, because I remember when it first got launched, we were like, is it called Fair Game $sign? Is it called Fair Game? Is it called Fair Games? What is it called? And so I think this is to sort of clarify that it's called Fair Games. That's the name of it. Yeah, this whole adventure PlayStation has been on for the last couple of years has not paid out very well. Now, there's exceptions to that rule. Helldivers 2 was a massive hit, still great. I just saw, that they're pushing their new season that's coming up right now. They've got a whole new marketing push happening right now, which is great for them.
You get a sword.
You can. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
cool.
the Illuminate, they're still here, Hey, you guys, did you know they're here? They're here. Come fight the Illuminate. And so, that's great. But you just go down the line. Last of Us Factions canceled. Concord, not even 2 weeks on the market. Marathon, Stolen Art, not looking that great either. And now Fair Games. Is it even going to make it a market? I don't know. Also, the word of they had more than a dozen live service games planned, and now that's down to 6, which is now down to 3. So we'll see if they're gonna keep that up. I would guess personally, PlayStation's gonna pivot away from this entire scheme because it has done nothing but cost them millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they've got little to nothing to show for it. Despite Helldivers 2, besides Helldivers 2's great success, it's not enough to justify everything else that's been going on.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I'm not trying to rag on her because I don't know anything about Jade Raymond. Her last ventures haven't been the greatest. She was the SVP, which I just looked up because first time I've heard about that, is Senior Vice President, a Group General Manager for Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it was being rolled out. Notably, that game's first year, you were maybe more knowledgeable about this, was not so great.
2 years.
First 2 years, yeah. Before that, it was the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, which, free play, doesn't seem like it was that big of a game. And before then, it was Far Cry 4, which was pretty nice. But then it was Assassin's Creed Unity, where both those games she worked as the managing director and the executive producer on Watch Dogs, the first one, which was also kind of a disappointing release. Last big high-quality thing, well, no, I'll give Far Cry 4 for her, but that plus jumping to Stadia, which failed to this, which he also jumped off before it was even complete, to a game that isn't really looking all that great. She's had not the best luck these past couple years.
It's a thing where, like, game development, there's so many, so many irons in the fire with game development that you can't really, like, tell what specifically is going wrong. And when you're, Jade Raymond is an executive at a massive level, right? So it's really hard to, like, point a finger directly at her and be like, oh, you're the kiss of death. But most of these products and projects have not, like, gone well, and the common denominator is you. So it's hard to, like, really be like, oh,
common denominator.
Why would Jade Raymond signing on to a project get me more excited about that project or more optimistic about the quality of that project by the time it launches? It's one of those things that just goes, all right, respectfully. I don't know Jade Raymond, and I haven't even seen an interview with this woman. But the resume says a lot, whether you want it to or not.
And maybe it'll be a good game, and maybe she just left for other reasons.
Listen, Concord was a good game. It was a good game.
It was. It wasn't like the greatest game.
No,
not by a long shot.
No, but neither is Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Helldivers 2 is better than Concord. It's better. It's undeniably that's a better game than Concord. But it's not the greatest game of all time. It's not even like the greatest like PvE shooter of all time.
It just did what a lot of these other games need to do, which is hit very successfully, and we haven't really seen a lot of success in this kind of genre as we used to. Yeah.
Speaking of haven't seen a success in a while, we are going to move on to our final topic of the day. Connor, your second penny of the day. Take it away, my friend.
We had some two big pieces of Kingdom Hearts news come out this week.
Kingdom Hearts!
These articles, Kingdom Hearts.
I love Kingdom Hearts.
Do you really, though?
No.
I don't think you love it. Yeah.
I could live without it.
Both these are from Game Informer. First is from Brian Shea. Kingdom Hearts 4 development update. New screenshots released by Square Enix. Following its announcements in 2022, official updates for Kingdom Hearts 4 have been few and far between. Though franchise fans are no strangers to waiting for information and subsequently game launches, Square Enix wanted to update fans on how development is progressing and provide a few new screenshots. The update came via the official Kingdom Hearts X accounts. Both the English and Japanese accounts shared multiple screenshots combined into one image. The smaller screenshots are the same, but the larger header screenshots differ depending on the account. The screenshots were accompanied by a message from the development team, quote, "To our Kingdom Hearts community," the post reads. "We're currently working hard on Kingdom Hearts 4 and will continue pouring ourselves into the game's development. We're dedicated to making this an experience that lives up to your expectations," end quote. We've seen, continuing with another quote, "We've seen how excited you are, and we are truly grateful from the bottom of our hearts," the account continues in a subsequent post. "We are equally excited and can't wait to share more about Kingdom Hearts 4 when the time is right. Until then, we appreciate your patience. Thank you for your continued support," end quote. While the larger screenshots are action shots of Sora in combat, the smaller visuals released by Kingdom Hearts team tonight feature what appears to be cinematics and an enemy. However, one intriguing screen seems to indicate that Mickey could be playable, unless it's just a conventional camera angle. This update comes only hours after Square Enix canceled Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, an upcoming mobile game designed to bridge the narrative gap between Kingdom Hearts 3 and 4. Kingdom Hearts 4 was initially announced via a franchise 20th anniversary trailer in April 2022, but outside of an exclusive interview with Game Informer 2 months later, series creator and director Tetsuya Nomura and his team have remained quiet regarding updates. The most recent numbered entry in the franchise, Kingdom Hearts 3, arrived in 2019, garnering widespread critical acclaim. We do not know currently when Kingdom Hearts 4 will be released. I will continue really quickly with a bit about that missing link. This is from an article from Wesley LeBlanc titled "Kingdom Hearts Missing Link Cancelled. Team hard at work on Kingdom Hearts 4." Square Enix has continued Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, the mobile spin-off set to release on iOS and Android devices. The game spent over a year in closed beta testing periods, but the team determined it would be difficult to keep it, quote, satisfactory for players over a long period of time. Alongside this announcement, Square Enix ensures fans it is hard at work on Kingdom Hearts 4. As the title Missing Link implies, this mobile spin-off was meant to provide story content to connect 3 and 4. It's unclear at this point if the cancellation of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link will affect the development of Kingdom Hearts 4. Here's Square Enix's statement about the game in full. Quote, "We have made the decision to cancel the development of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. We wish to convey our heartfelt apologies to everyone who has been looking forward to the start of service. Although we worked hard on developing and adjusting the game in the hope that it would be enjoyed by lots of players, we determined that it would be difficult for us to offer a service that players would find satisfactory over a long period of time, leading us to the decision to cancel development. We would like to take this opportunity to express our thanks to everyone who gave us their support and assistance with multiple closed beta tests. We are truly sorry to have to make this announcement. The Kingdom Hearts series will continue. We are hard at work on Kingdom Hearts 4, and hope you'll continue to support the series as you keep an eye out for further updates." It was originally announced in 2022 and set to launch on mobile in 2024. So the screenshot that they released, specifically the gameplay ones, it's very classic Kingdom Hearts. You got your commands down at the bottom left corner with that you scroll through to select items, magic, attack, and in this case, build. What exactly that means, who knows? And of course, fighting against heartless enemies, the typical, dark black looking characters with some more what's the word
What, like shadowy figures?
Not shadowy figures, but like more in-depth design characters with if you've seen Kingdom Hearts, you know the kind of enemies it's showing you at the screen. It's just taking that new art style where it's looking less cartoony and looking more realistic. Of course,
it looks a little more. I don't even think realistic's like a good way to do it. It looks more like Unreal Engine-y. It looks like honestly, it looks like a modern
Final Fantasy.
But even like a little more cartoony Final Fantasy.
Yeah. More like if they were trying to do the more realistic style they're doing nowadays, but still retaining that old classic style of, they're in a video game. They don't
It
look
looks
like
like a mash between Pixar and what Final Fantasy has been doing for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, Pixar's a good one, which is funny because this is from Disney. Right? And in the original trailers, we saw like Donald and Goofy, and they looked like their Disney counterparts. Mickey in this screenshot looks like that as well, just a bit more hyper realistic in his
He's got
details.
more dimension to him. He's just got more dimension.
Yeah.
He's not even like realistic. He's just
he's
a 3D character now, like as opposed to like it. Like I'll say like it's not like hyper stylized or cartoonified. But I'm looking at animation. These are clearly animated characters. This isn't. You're not looking at Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. Where they were trying to get as detailed as possible and make him look as real as possible. These are clearly animated characters. And I'll say it. And this is listen. I'm not the messenger who should bring this message. I don't really particularly like Kingdom Hearts as a franchise. Kingdom Hearts 2 is all right. It's a fun game. It's a good game. The rest of them, I don't know about that. I think they look great. I think they look fantastic. I'm actually really glad that they're going in this direction. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is seen as a failure by Square Enix, and
certainly by fans. Fans don't talk about it a lot.
Certainly by fans, but yeah, I don't think that hit the mark. I think it took a long time to develop. I think when it came out, it was already antiquated and old. And yeah, I think just generally, like, I don't think anybody was really excited about that. So let's switch it up. Let's change it. We tried to give you another Kingdom Hearts game. Didn't really work out. So let's swing for the fences. I'm also still not entirely convinced that this isn't just one big world and the art style changes from world to world. It happens in the other Kingdom Hearts games. So like, I think the reaction to this has always been a little overblown because we just don't have enough information yet. But I wouldn't mind it if the whole game looked like this. I think it would help. Like, I think it just kind of gives them the ability to be a little more detailed with what's on screen. It doesn't look like a bunch of like flashiness for the sake of flashiness. Like, I think personally, Kingdom Hearts is in dire need of some change. Kingdom Hearts has not changed since it came out in 2002. Like, what's the problem with it being a little different? Let's try something new.
I very much think of how they need to not rely on, this is kind of ironic considering what Kingdom Hearts is, on the Disney stuff as much. And it seems from these screenshots, they're not really doing that. They're diving more into what is solely more Kingdom Hearts. And hey, maybe with this art style, there'll be more Final Fantasy characters. I've always liked Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, so I won't complain about that. But your point earlier, yeah, they always did play around with going to different worlds, most notably Pirates of the Caribbean, which more similar, that looks closer to this game than all of the other worlds you visit in Kingdom Hearts, past Kingdom Hearts games. So, and again, with Tetsuya Nomura, who did the big change with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I could see him looking at this franchise he's worked on for a long time and looking at that the same way of, how can I make this different? How can I revitalize this in a way that is, not just a classic sequel to, what I've done in the past, which, like you said, a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games have just been that, just staying pretty much in the same realm it's always been, just with tweaks around the edges. Well, sometimes massive tweaks, sometimes tweaks around the edges, depending on which title you're talking about.
Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts has a lot of entries. It doesn't feel like anybody likes any of them except for 1 and 2. Like, maybe Chains of Memories or whatever that one's called. Like, people kind of like that one. But, like, for the most part, it just kind of seems like the fan base only likes 1 and only likes 2. 3 was a big one, and it didn't hit. So, like...
358 by 2 days. I've heard, like, everyone's well received that. Fans.
Who's everyone? Most people just talk about that and go, what the fuck is that?
The fans.
You give me a math equation for a title?
Maybe not the best name. What was the other? Birth by Sleep. That was well received. Again, though, it didn't really break the mold of Kingdom Hearts as a franchise.
I think fans are tired of the Kingdom Hearts formula. I don't think that formula has necessarily been the best formula ever to begin with. For people who aren't fans. And I don't even know if fans are aware that they're tired of the formula. Like, I think they just want that magic back, but that magic can't come back if it doesn't change.
I mean, maybe this will bring in a whole new fan base of Kingdom Hearts fans.
I also disagree. I don't think Kingdom Hearts should lean away from Disney.
You don't think so?
No.
What do you know? You don't even like. I
think they should
Organization 13.
I think they should just develop their storyline like in a way that like makes sense. Like have some coherent storytelling would be fine. If this is just a simple, we're going to save a princess story, I think it'd be way better than anything they've done in the last like 15 years.
You're talking about Nomura here. He's not going to do something so basic now.
No, God no. But also, just like look at this screen, look at this shot of like Sora on the road and there's all these like different sparkle effects and lighting effects and all these things. Think of something Nomura is very good visually. Visually, he creates very striking images. You can't get an image like this, even though it's like clearly like not like the most like predetermined camera angle. Like that looks like something out of gameplay, but you never get something like this out of any other Kingdom Hearts game. Not like this.
In what way exactly?
Like the lighting, the ambiance, just the striking, like how the image strikes your eye, the different particle effects that are going on here, like. In a normal Kingdom Hearts art style, this would be a very flat image.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's also like you, I'm more hot on Kingdom Hearts than you would be, not by like a great deal. But this just looks appealing to the eyes.
Yeah, like it. Like,
and I don't mind it looking like this.
It
away
looks
from
good.
The last games.
Like the quality of the image looks good. Like I can't speak for the game because we haven't fucking seen anything. And we're going to continue to not see anything. But yeah. Connor, how are we feeling about this mobile game that got canceled?
I mean, it just seems like, why waste your time on it, I guess, was their thought process.
It
doesn't seem like it was coming out all that well.
There's already popular petitions I was seeing online of like people being like, bring it back. Go ahead, release it anyways. Guys, if they're canceling it, that must have been the most like hot garbage shit like in a long time, because Square Enix releases everything. Now, granted, currently their current model is to like slim down on the number of releases they put out a year, which I think is a smart move from them. But Kingdom Hearts specifically has always produced a lot of trash. Like, you can love it. You can love the trash. It's okay to love trash. I love trash too. But Kingdom Hearts specifically is not like the most like storied franchise in terms of quality. And if even they are like, oof, we probably shouldn't put this out, then oof, y'all were spared.
A lot of it definitely matters what they were thinking. You're right, because based off the trailer, this looks, especially for a mobile game, this looks very, very high quality. So something had to have gone wrong. Like they wouldn't, I get they would want to move some people from that over to Kingdom Hearts 4 because that's where the bigger bucks are. But yeah, with looking as good as it is on these trailers and them still canceling it, and it being a Kingdom Hearts title they would cancel, it seems like there's reasons we don't understand why that was the case. At least that's me being hopeful towards them knowing what they're doing.
Also, God, they gotta stop doing this. Hey, in a random mobile game or in a random like cell phone game, we're gonna like explain how characters got from the last title to this title. They gotta stop doing that. They did that with 1 to 2. They did that with 2 to 3. Like, ugh, like.
Well, that's the thing.
You can't even play the game that tells you how Sora got from 1 to 2 anymore, outside of the remade versions that they put in later editions and things. I don't know if this game looks as good as you're saying it does.
Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, I've got the trailer playing. I pulled up so the audience can see the images and can see the trailer as well. Like, I don't know about this one.
It's a mobile game. That's my biggest defense.
Even with that, I don't know because I've not played, and I'll never play, and I think that's okay. I don't need to play.
You wouldn't play anyway.
So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your episode of the Two Penny Games cast. Remember, we've got the Two Penny Game Club coming back in just 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we've got the Game Club coming back. That's right, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots review, 2025 review, will be hitting the channel in just 2 short weeks. So make sure, if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots yet, you play it alongside with us and get ready for that review this next month. Please go watch the Penny Drop. I want more remakes. The Penny Drop live on the YouTube channel now, youtube.com/@2pennygames. And just in general, make sure you like, subscribe, and share for more. Please help us out. Help us get bigger and bigger every week. Until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye. Have a nice day.